Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and I welcome all of you back to another Chris Chan and pornography article courtesy of the Quickie. And well, I will. There is something I do want to say, but I think I'll save it till the end because it's far from a happy ending. But with that being said, pornography is sexual media content. Like with many other things, Chris has developed a fixation over porn to the extent that he has it as educational. He he views it as educational, which is probably even more concerning. He has made many different pieces of pornography and viewed plenty as well. As you do, I guess. Discovery. And I'm definitely gonna. Yeah, I'm censoring that out. By the age of 15, Chris had discovered softcore pornography while he watched an HBO and Cinemax. He would lay belly down on a bed on top of a clean washcloth while watching it, eventually leading to his discovery of masturbation. Based on a PSN chat with Panda Halo and an IRC chat, Chris would access pornography after he figured out how to bypass the parental controls of his parents' television. Actually figured out for myself in my room one night after having unlocked the parental lock. You have a parental lock even by the age of 15. That's a bit. Also, this is 1995. No, not 90, not 95, like 96, 97, something like that. I found the pool party scene in I Like to Play Games Too, and I just figured it for myself. Chris would go on to clarify in Blue Spike PSN Chat 3 that the scene that taught him how to masturbate featured a man and a woman having sex in a swimming pool. No such scene exists in I Like to Play Games Too, however. A scene fitting Chris's description appears in the first I Like to Play Games. It is possible that the scene was the inspiration for Chris's romantic labyrinth wet dream, which he would later recreate in Flipnote Hetina. Viewing. And I'm definitely censoring this part out as well. Chris has been collecting pornographic DVDs since at least 2006. So by the time Chris was 24 years of age, something like that, when he began purchasing a bunch through Adam and Eve. However, he paid full price for very few of these DVDs. Most of them were either free gifts or sold at a steep discount. One of the only discs he looks to have specifically shopped for was a collection of vintage American smut cartoons priced at $14.95. By December of 2013, Chris had amassed a collection of at least 56 pornographic DVDs. He attempted to sell them on Craigslist and asked one of LYLT's personas if she would buy them, listing as a lot for $1,000. He listed the titles such as Hentai, Love Lessons 1 and 2, Love Doll 1 and 2, Anime Fiction 1 and 2, Sailor and the Seven Balls 1 and 2, Desperate Carnal Housewives 1, Vintage Triple X cartoons featuring Little Annie and the Thallium, Pure Love 2, Fruits Cup. I don't really know what I can only hazard a guess what some of these are, and to be honest, I don't really want to do that either. Moving on. From Adam and Eve. The Edge, Black Safari, Legend Has It, Triple X Pleasure Seekers, Wicked Now and Wicked Classic, Titanium 5-star video collection, Rawhide 2-disc set, Jenna's Private Parts, The Best of Amateur Angels, Amateur Angels 5, The Perfect Secretary, Carmen and Friends. Is that meant to... Please tell me that's not meant to be Carmen Electra. It probably is, you know, the more I think about it. Build Your Own Collection, Extreme Behavior 2, Nina Hartley's Guide to Sex Toys. Educational from Sinclair Institute and Alexander Institute Spearmint Rhino. 101 Advanced Sexual Positions, Sexploitations Walls 1, 2, 3, DVD and music CD set. Creative Positions for Lowers, Beyond the Bedroom, Sexual Positions for Lowers, Beyond the Missionary Position, Kama Sutra, Sensual Secrets to Amazing Sex 1, sex a lifelong pleasure, satisfying high or him, volume 1 and 2, erotic seduction, more of what men want, new erotic seduction, the art of erotic dancing, sexual satisfaction, sexual healing, and sexual fitness. Surprisingly, your guess is as good as mine as to, well, if you're really trying to tell me Chris really watched all of these with at least one hand on his, well, you could probably fill in the rest. Others. Playboy Girls of Reality TV, Playboy Girlfriends, Sex Trivia, Pleasure Principle, Sweet Young Things 1.2 and 1, 2 and 3, Latin Sensations, Pam and Tommy Lee, Hardcore and Unirex Word, On Top of Woody, Teen Models 1, Just Vagina, Cal Walsh Girls, Angelina Armani Statlets, Cagney Lynn Carter, Superhero Sex Therapist. Also, by the way, can we just say for the record right now is that rest in peace, Cagney Lynn Carter. By the way, she took her own life around about this time last year. She was just 36 years old. Very, very tragic. Online. I am not ashamed to tell you I enjoyed a number of the screen caps on WeLiveTogether.com, and when I feel like totally grossed out with even an image of a penis and recall and focusing on a vagina image in my mind, it usually works, but when it doesn't, I turned on We Live Together and focus on those images. Apparently somebody had felt the need to tell me that We Live Together is apparently a lesbian exclusive series on Reality Kings, I think it is. I could be wrong about that, but what do I know? Who actually goes out of their way to look up that sort of stuff from 2017? I mean, when you think about it, like, it probably outdates far worse than a Squareo or a Laserdisc. Because who looks up porn from 10 years ago, or even 5 years ago for that matter? Unless it's very specific. And, well, see, it mentions it right here. Chris's favourite lesbian porn website is WeLiveTogether.com, mentioning it in conversations from May 2015 and September 2017. Chris wrote that, the site really thrills me, although added that he is not a member and just likes to browse the free samples. I mean, that's kind of what they're for, I suppose. He also used it as a coping mechanism for when he saw imagery of a penis. Chris's usual technique for this emergency was to imagine vaginas. For times when this was not enough, he turned to browsing WeLiveTogether.com for an added boost. Yet surprisingly, even by this point, I think Pornhub allowed you to view any videos you wanted. Like, even back in the day, they limited you to just watching 5 free videos a day. And then, well, they opened the floodgates, to say the least. I don't know why Chris did not know that, but your guess is as good as mine. During the Idea Guy saga, Chris is coerced to record a 2-hour video of himself watching grotesque pornography as a reaction-type video. This video has not been released to the public. Thank God for that. On the 30th of July 2019, P0rnogr&phy posted some Transformers Rule 34 porn artwork in a Discord server. Chris commented, I was curious about the twitchy servos in that for a while, but it ended up being hit or miss with me. Thank you for your opinions, Chris. Superb. Creating. Oh, God. Art. Chris has created numerous pieces of pornographic artwork, the first set of which came around in 2007 amidst his fight against Encyclopedia Dramatica. Repulsed by the copious pickles on the site, he set out on a mission to add positively by replacing the dick-filled artwork with hand-drawn porn pictures, aligning with his own tastes. Armed with his magic markers, he gave the world an eye full of Solitude and Rose Chew fucking, Blake and Bubbles Rose Chew also fucking, Angelica Rose Chew fingering herself, Mary Lee Walsh commanding one of her jerk-up slaves to pleasure her, and the infamous She Came for Quick.jpg, in which he finger-bangs Megan Schroeder. Unsurprisingly, the latter came back to bite him in the ass. Also, Chris doubled down on drawing porn for Sonichu issue 8, which opens with a graphic sex scene between Sonichu and Rosechew and includes badly traced nudes of Rosechew. If that's not hideous enough, he adds a dose of, well, face rape. In 2009, Chris created Sonichu and Rosechew's Love Shack as a notorious outlet to show off all the porn art he had drawn so far. He even included She Came for Quick, despite this picture being the final nail in the coffin for his friendship with Megan Schroeder. And by the way, no, we are definitely not opening that. Nor am I going to be showing you guys. It's a collage of Chris doing the dirty, and well, nobody has to see that, not including you guys. So I'm definitely not doing that. Selling porn. Chris has successfully sold some of the porn artwork he made. On the 23rd of April 2018, Chris listed for sale on eBay the contents of the crumple lope several pornographic drawings, which included his neatly cut up She Came for Quick.jpg. Through the listing was struck from eBay for a terms of service violation. Lucas Simpkins made a private offer to purchase the lot for Chris's initial asking price of $1,000, which Chris accepted. $1,000 for that. I don't even think you can commission people to do an entire comic on POW Comics for that price. They would have, on average, it's at like 2,000 or something like that. And how Chris, like, some people literally do have just more money than sense, it would seem. Effects of pornography on Chris's beliefs. Chris's consumption of pornography has engendered many false beliefs about sex in him, which he sticks to religiously. His sex chat logs are a prime example of this. Chris's fantasies are merely reactionaries of what he sees in pornos, rather than plausible sexual experiences. For example, he believed that Casey would become a brutal BDSM tit-fucking followed by a load after load of Navy to the face. That's a sentence, alright. Other examples of Chris's crude misconceptions about sex abound. He mimics female porn stars' sex positions, spreads an imaginary vagina a yard across, and believes that electric shocks to the vagina are pleasurable. And with all of that, with the sound of Chris's of Chris's degeneracy literally ringing in my ears, we are finally at the end. And I did say to you guys it was definitely not going to be a happy ending. However, while we are at this point, and well, let me just give you a bit of an idea, guys, because I'm going to give you guys a little bit of an insight just before we part for now. Now, everything that's sort of highlighted in this dark purple, these are articles that we've covered previously that have yet to be updated. Everything else you're seeing here right now that's in blue has been updated. And just to give you an idea about where we currently are in terms of everything we have yet to cover. We have yet to do English, we have yet to do language, music, oration, Spanish writing, politics, religion, electronics, the internet, science, television, and video games. So on average, we're about 11, I'd give it at least 12 articles before we are completely at the end of this main chunk of work. Which, this is definitely the point I would say that we are almost definitively the point I would say that, well, at this point, once we get through all of those, I also want to be able to cover all the details about all the famous persons in Chris's life, and then any other little article that can be sort of subsidiary towards a larger discussion. So, the whole point of this little shebang at the end is just to kind of showcase to you guys just sort of, well, how far we've come and how far we've still got to go. Not a euphemism, by the way. And with all that being said and done, I hope all of you guys, well, learned something, I guess. And I don't really know what we were supposed to have learned from all this, but I'll see all of you guys again in the next video. So take care, and bye-bye for now. Well, hello again. And just before each and every one of you leave, if I could just hold your attention for a few more seconds, and I want to show you very quickly my Patreon store. I've been running this for 5 years now, and ever since this month began, I've decided to reopen, relaunch, completely sort out my categories for videos, and I've uploaded them sometimes as far as 3 months in advance. So you guys will be able to get an exclusive look exactly what's coming out, when it's coming out, at your convenience. So make sure to stop by, take a look around, and let's see what you think. Thank you very much for supporting me once again, and I'll see you again next time.